When President Harding died, Vice President Calvin Coolidge was at his father's home in rural Vermont. Coolidge's father, a justice of the peace, swore him in by lantern light over the family Bible. Number 30, Calvin Coolidge, Republican, 1923 to 1929, 52 years old, from Massachusetts.
He was a kind of cramped, somewhat mean-spirited, not very sociable or genial man.
Before being tapped as Harding's vice president, Coolidge had been a lawyer and governor of Massachusetts. The man they called Silent Cal was indeed quiet, and when he did speak, it was in a high, nasal voice. Despite claiming that his only hobby was running for office, Coolidge was an avid fisherman. He also had a dry New England wit.
There's a story of him at a state dinner, and a woman sitting next to him trying to engage him says, I'll bet you, Mr. President, that I can get you to say more than 2 words in the course of this evening. And he turned to her briefly and said, "You lose."
Coolidge had a novel way of getting exercise by riding this mechanical horse in his White House bedroom.
The president would ride it before dinner in the evening. He would ride the horse and get all sweaty, get off the horse, and go down and eat.
History hasn't recorded whether the president preferred to gallop or trot. Although normally stoic, Coolidge was always game to play dress-up for a good photo opportunity. In 1924, less than a year into his presidency, voters were content to keep cool with Coolidge by electing him to a full term of his own. On March 4th, 1925, he was sworn in by Chief Justice William Howard Taft, the first time in history an ex-president gave the oath of office to a president. During his administration, Coolidge kept a tight rein on the federal budget. He used his veto power to kill pay raises for postal workers and bonuses for World War I veterans. He also lowered taxes twice. His goal was to keep government small and business booming.
He believed in American business as the dominant force in American life. He once said, he who builds a factory builds a temple. He who works there worships there.
Coolidge presided over a period of prosperity, but his economic policies failed to anticipate the future and the calamity of the Great Depression that lay ahead.
Coolidge did what the times seemed to require. If he made a mistake, it was in the economics of the time, which he did not understand, and I think most of the people of his generation did not understand.
The president may have missed the increasing signs of economic instability because his management style was to rely heavily on his cabinet.
The case in point was Andrew Mellon, the Secretary of the Treasury. He was the 3rd richest man in the country, and no recession, not to mention depression, could touch him. And I think he didn't understand what was going on, and Coolidge trusted in Mellon, and thereby made an error.
In 1928, Calvin Coolidge decided not to run for a second term, and his Secretary of Commerce, Herbert Hoover, won the White House. Popular in his day, Coolidge is now largely a forgotten figure, a quiet president who presided over a roaring era.